closed session. I'll entertain a motion to go into open session.
I make a motion to go open.
Motion by Mr. Benders, seconded by Ms. Sanchez. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. One absent. At
7:01.
7:04.
7:04. The recording of this meeting is being made and shall be kept as public record for 30 days. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I am here, Linda Brantz is absent, Yolanda is here, Carol is here, and Mr. Jim Bender is here. Motion to approve the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda. Second.
Motion by Ms. Sanchez, seconded by Ms. Robinson. All in favor?
Aye.
4 ayes, 1 absent. Do we have any requests
No,
for
we don't.
any respects with the public comment section? Board member communication. Carol.
Hi, everybody. Hope you're having a nice summer. I'm really excited about having a new superintendent. Thank you for coming, and since it's, school's out, you could be all gone, but appreciate you taking your time out to come, and we are looking forward to getting started on a positive note for this next year.
Jim?
Thank you, everybody, for coming. Got some good news today, and I'm so happy that the superintendent took the reins and grabbed and got our teachers $100 to spend any way that they want to on items for the classroom. That was real. We know we can get it done, we just got to push hard enough, right? Don't stop pushing until we get it. So thanks everybody for coming. I think this is going to be a beginning of a good time for the board and for the school district. We notice there's a few people that's leaving still. Sad to see them go, but we're going to work through it and get some more good teachers on board and get pushing for a good future for Roseman.
Okay.
Oh, and can I say also, Carol Robinson, congratulations those teachers that finished getting their credential. They got their preliminary and were able to be rehired. I was excited to see that.
Just want to say thank you for everybody being here tonight, and I hope you're enjoying your summer, and we still got another whole month or so enjoy, and we'll start our new year July 1st. Looking forward for some new changes too. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Hopefully everybody's enjoying their relaxing time. I know it's really not true, but everybody's working hard trying to get ready for the new year already. So I appreciate the extra effort everybody's been putting out, and we're looking up to a new year, and hopefully everything goes like it's planned. With that, do we have any RTA members here, or the no RTA? Okay. How about CSEA? I didn't see anybody when I walked in, but I thought I'd ask. CBO, Eric.
We got word yesterday that we weren't funded for our electric bus grant, but we are finalists, so as more funding comes available, we'll be awarded. We just missed the cutoff, so. It's a program that's funded through a specific tax, so once they collect more next year, we could look to get funded, and since we are a finalist, we don't need to go through the process of reapplying. And also, there's a new program that may help fund it, the Volkswagen diesel recall that they did. They had to pay a huge fine to the state, so that money's supposed to go towards clean busing. So that might be used to fund the remaining finalists on this list, so we're gonna keep our eye out. But that came out just yesterday. And then today, they were supposed to finish up the renovations on the 2 classrooms at the high school. That would be the end of it. The biggest problem with that was the countertops. It was back ordered, and so it took a really long time to get those countertops. And they did experience an accident where countertops did break, so that delayed it even further, but today was supposed to be the finishing the project, so.
Was that the water damage?
Yeah, the water damage for the 2 classrooms.
That was the 200 watt?
I believe so. And we're continuing to work on the water consolidation agreement with RCSD. So their attorneys are currently looking at that. So we went back and forth on that. Hopefully we'll get it done next month. And also, we're still working on the agreement with AV Union High School District for the adult ed program. Hopefully they'll have an agreement or an MOU for next month to get the program started and going by the time school starts.
Can you explain to me a little bit more about that, the water that we're doing? We're selling them or giving them so many square acres of water?
4 acres of water.
4 acres?
Yeah. So basically, we're under court mandate to connect to RCSD's water system at the high school.
Mm-hmm.
In order to do that, we have to have an agreement with RCSD. RCSD has to find that water rights to provide that water to us. So we are giving them those rights rather than having them go to the market and buy it and charge us for it. We're giving them those 4 acres of water rights to supply us with that water. And that should be ample rights to cover a year's supply of water for that campus.
So we're trading them water, basically?
Yeah, we're giving them the right, because they have the filtration systems that we need to get to the state standards for the water. We can't filter the water to that point.
Right, it's almost impossible.
It's impossible.
What they're
Unless we
doing.
have a water filtration plant, we'll never reach that point.
They're actually being watered.
Yeah, we'll have to provide bottled water. And the problem is the state lowers the standards every year. So there's years that we have no problem. When the standard goes lower, we have to try and get to that point again and again. Every year the state lowers standards to the point where really the purpose is to get everyone connected to a municipal water system. And that's kind of what the point of this whole water consolidation is. It's not just us. Any kind of provider of water in the community that has 50 users or more is required to connect to RCSD. And that's trailer parks and you name it. So. And that'll only be for consumption, not for irrigation.
If they still use our well for irrigating the fields
And we'll need to split the systems. We'll have a closed loop for irrigation and our potable or consumable water will be connected to RCSD.
What does that entail, splitting the systems?
Excuse me?
What does that entail?
We have to install a meter on the RCSD line. We're working on reconditioning a meter. So, and the state will pay for the work to do all the consolidation. It will go through RCSD, the funding. We won't be liable for that. And that's really digging and connecting lines to RCSD and closing off our system and putting a meter on their system.
and Roosevelt Elementary is already hooked up to our CSD.
They are.
And that well is still active.
It's collapsed.
That's why.
What's 4 acres of water worth to RSCD if they had to go buy it? And what do they profit off it? What do they sell it to the homeowners for? How many homes can I put on 1 acre square?
I think 1.5 is
1.5
what's
homes.
required for every new home. But as far as what is it worth, you'd have to go to the market and just see what people are willing to sell it for. We do have the option of leasing out water rights too. Now it's a rather new way of doing things, but I mean, frankly, they could take all of our water rights if they wanted to. So, because we were negotiating with them, we have about 90-something square acres of water rights. So, because we're negotiating, we'll give them we're working together to have an agreement. And they don't want to provide more water than they have the rights for, because then they have to pay for that. So the 4 acres is more than enough for our campus. And this, even with growth, the 4 acres should cover the growth.
So our 90 is like, I guess you could say it's money in the bank, just sitting there?
It's an asset.
Is there any way we can use some of that to do something with that park across the street? The Union,
Oh, no, this is for the high school.
No, we would.
United Park, we can't give them another 4 acres to put that?
No, they'd have to charge us for the water.
Okay.
Owning rights is one thing, and then charging for providing the water is another. And we can't drill either, so
We
we're
can't?
under adjudication. No new wells to be drilled.
I didn't think they'd let you do that anymore.
Ms. Gaines?
Thank you. Well, I have had an exciting 4 days. I've been meeting with as many of our Southern Kern team as I possibly can. Spent a couple of hours with Raleigh Davis and just going over summer goals for each one of our sites. And we're going to meet on a regular basis every week until we feel that we've got all the summer projects completed, and he was quite knowledgeable. And I want to just say that it's just everybody has been so helpful to me in the 4 days, setting up my computer, connecting me to this system, that system. I just want to say thank you to all the directors and everybody and their team who've really, really been very supportive since I arrived last Friday. It seems like I've been here long.
Yeah.
I'm having so much fun. I want you to know that. I absolutely love it. The team here, the people here are the most gracious, hardworking people. It's unbelievable. And I am excited, Mr. Bender, about that $100. It's not much. $100 is not much to ask a teacher to supply their classroom with, but it's something. And the mere fact that they're going to be able to go out and buy the supplies that they know that they need, whether it's even frogs for dissection or whatever it is, I'm excited about that. And that took about 2 hours of negotiation. I want you to know that. It was really, it's like unbelievable. And I also want to publicly thank Regina Rossell from Westside School District, because she's invited me to bring some of my math teachers to a 3-day professional development at, it's going to be held at Esperanza Elementary. And this is only for K-8, but the good thing is, thank you, Eric, also, we're going to be able to pay the registration for the teachers, their mileage, and also some extra duty stipends, extra duty hourly rate for the teachers to attend. So we have 18 teachers I'm taking to that PD. So I'm going to be there with them the first day. It'll be K2, 3, 5, and 6, 8 will be the professional development. So we have 8 from West Park, 7 from Roseman Elementary, and 3 from Tropico attending. So I thought that was very gracious of her to invite me to bring teachers to that professional development. And I think That's pretty much it, other than I'd like to just say happy birthday to Mr. Bender this Friday, June 28th is his birthday. So I think he thought I would not dig into birthdays, but I've already done that. So happy birthday this Friday, Mr. Bender.
Consent items to approve A through O. Does anybody have any questions on that?
I do. On the one fee, that's $366,000 for the 1819 WC, is that the workers' comp?
Which item is that?
That's, it's the 1819
The risk management?
risk management, yeah. That's the PL premiums. it
Yeah,
says.
the California School Risk Management, they're our service, workers' comp and property and liability insurance company.
Is that for the year?
Yeah. Or this pay voucher is actually for the third and fourth quarter of this year, 18, 19.
Oh, 1819.
So rather than making monthly payments, we make quarterly payments.
So is that for the insurance or is that for payments for workers' comp?
Both.
What's our percentage?
For workers' comp,
Yeah.
2.39% per $100.
Pretty good.
That's down from 2.98 last year.
They don't split up classified and.
No, it's the head count. Or it's actually it's based on your payroll. So they do a projection based on payroll.
Right,
And then at the end of the year, they reconcile what you actually paid.
right, because mine are split, because my clerical is like 0.7, and then the working side it's 10.5.
Yeah, they don't consider like occupational hazard or anything like
So
that.
it's all just
head count.
And then the Jeanette Garcia audit processing unit, do we have an audit report yet, or?
No.
That's
that-
another fee.
That one, they just came in. Yeah. That was,
Another one.
no, that was for when they came out a few weeks ago. They haven't given me a report yet. They gave a memo, nothing just finalized. They won't really give you a final report until they come back in the fall.
This is what, late September?
We're scheduled for them to come out in October.
They don't give you like a progress report, like from,
They don't give a they give a memo of, and it's possible findings, nothing official.
let me see that, the next board meeting.
I'll ask her to give me something more official. And it's really just, we sit and talk.
But their findings that she's found within the year.
Yeah, and it's really, I have concerns about this rather than this is an official finding. So like our ADA, so those are things she would put in the memo, and we would make those changes. And then at the end of when the audit is released, there won't be a finding because we already made those corrections. But we are finalizing ADA right now, and it looks like the findings that she did have, HIPAA and kindergarten retention forms, we're looking at about 8 less ADA. Eight total ADA. So depending on what grade that is, it could be anywhere from 10 to $12,000.
Can you explain to me what the college book reimbursements are and how those work?
Yeah, so the dual enrollment classes that we offer,
Right.
we pay for those textbooks for those students.
Mm-hmm.
When we try to keep an inventory of those textbooks on hand, when we don't have that textbook on hand, we'll purchase it, or the student will purchase it. reimburse them for that. But we keep the books in inventory if the student needs it. It's part of the LCAP. That's how it works.
So they have to expend their own money to purchase the book?
If we don't have it.
Correct. And we'll reimburse them
At the end of the year?
when they put the claim in.
Because
And then the item on the Department of General Services, the DSA fees, $83,000.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a-
So that's, the DSA fee is to finalize the construction of RES. So in order for DSA to certify that the project is complete, this is their final fee. And basically, when the project was filed with DSA, the budget for the project was reported as $12 million. When we finalized the project, it was actually $26 million. So it looks like only 12 million was reported because of, I don't know if the project was ever updated with DSA, but DSA has a formula. They base their fees on the cost of the project. And this is the difference between what was paid to them and what is owed based on the new production.
This is an invoice or bill that you got recently from them.
Correct.
That you weren't expecting.
No. And DSA, they basically, there's no negotiation.
Right, because they go by the.
Right, they have to follow their formula for billing. And you could pay you could take as long as you want to pay, but they won't finalize the project until it's paid in full. So we can't file with OPSC for our hardship funding until it is finalized. So we're kind of, it's a catch-22 for us. But once this is paid, that'll be it. There will be no other DSA fees or anything. The project will be certified as complete. So,
Well, sorry.
Our school legal costs,
Oh, yeah.
what are we spending this on? I mean,
yeah, it is very high. And it's broken down between the cost for special education, litigation, and the cost of just general legal operations. We do use schools legal, and if you compare the fees that schools legal charges versus a private practice, they are much lower. But these are just things that, things come up, complaints come up, or situations come, it's really out of our hands.
Yeah, some of it will be contract for we do contracts out for the superintendent.
we don't have somebody as a, like a, Kern County as a advisor or anything like that. We gotta always go out and seek legal counsel. We don't have some other way we could.
We only try to use legal counsel when absolutely necessary. Because oftentimes, if you do something without legal counsel, it opens you up to the unknown. You really don't know. It's kind of limiting your liability. And because of the RIFs, they were heavily involved in preparation for the RIF. So that was a big
So that
process.
isn't, there's not a legal counsel through Kern County that we can use. Go.
They are.
But,
That's
okay.
that.
So we have to pay for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
I thought maybe all the schools pitch in $10 each and we're okay for the year or something, but I guess not, okay.
They charge $200 an hour, but if you go into a private practice, it's easily $300 an hour.
It says 248 on here.
And how about the postage for Saturday school letters? We send out letters for Saturday school that cost $1,200. We can't send out email or a phone call? Facebook?
I don't wanna-
Anything
Well, not
nowadays?
everybody has, I don't think everybody has a computer.
That's $1,200 on stamps.
Yeah, I don't know, I don't want to say it's required or not. I'm not sure if it requires it or not, to be honest. I'd have to look into that.
But most of those letters go home through the kids' mailbox, they carry them home. So I can't imagine having to mail them out after they.
So for the high school, I sort of understand that, I just want to make sure that, so we paid $840 for extra security
For,
for the graduations?
correct.
Okay.
We had a lot of rented equipment, so we had overnight security.
Couldn't have it all yet.
I'd like to see if maybe Saturday school can do some emails or something instead of spending.
We could explore it, but.
Explore some different.
Yeah, I'm not clear about the code on that. If it is something that's required, we'll
Okay.
do postage.
They send home a letter, and the parent send it back signed, but even if it doesn't send it back signed, you gotta send them a letter in the mail.
Now, can you tell me a little bit about disposing the laptops and ThinkPads? I just got to it, I forgot. Are we paying to do that? We bought the things, now we gotta pay to dispose of them?
No, they pay us.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
So
No.
the laptops that are reusable, they, depending on the model of the laptop, but most of them are $22 that they will pay us.
Okay.
The laptops that are not usable, we won't get any money for.
And are we paying to ship them back $20? Okay.
They, now, this is the same company that we buy our replacement laptops from.
So this is a vendor that we are working with through the leasing company that we're leasing the 910 RHS student laptops from. This is the remarketing company that they work with.
Yeah, they give you a better break if you use their company when you buy their computers and return the old computers, basically.
Is this the same company that doesn't have a physical address? It's a P.O. box in Lancaster or something?
No, this is the leasing company.
Okay. Just- That one's still worrying me.
The laptops are set to arrive July 15th or 18th.
Thank you.
They've never missed, we've been working with them for 6 years, they've never missed a deadline.
As long as he checks that P.O. box, I guess we're okay, right? There's a $300,000 check going there, so I guess I'll go check it every once in a while too. Thank you.
We emailed the PO.
Oh, okay.
Having your regular mailbox, somebody will come by and steal your mail.
Thank you.
Okay, does anybody have any more questions?
That was it
Okay.
for me.
Somebody make
I make a motion we accept that.
okay, motion by Mr. Bender,
I'll second it.
seconded by Ms. Sanchez. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. One absent. Approved LCAP accountability plan. Mr. West. You're up.
Oh, I don't have anything prepared. We presented a couple weeks ago. Are there any questions?
Okay. No, I just saw it on here and it says your name on it, so I just.
Wasn't there some changes requested to add
Yes.
that? Were they done?
Yes.
So do we see that first, or?
It's on, I believe in the board packet, there is a link to the most updated LCAP. So the most updated LCAP is on the district website on the LCAP page. That was updated June the 18th, and that included the changes that were requested.
I would have liked to have seen it.
Yeah, I think we probably
just-
need to. Do we have time to bring this back up? Or does it have to be approved? Has to be approved? Okay, because is it in red, the changes on the LCAP? So we don't know where the changes are, or what page or?
The one addition was to add the language about the DLAC.
Yes.
And that was, let me see if I can- those were added. That's The DLAC is goal 3, and that was added in 2 places. And if you give me a sec, I'll tell you exactly.
What page is it on?
Well, hang on, I have my, give me a second, I'll tell you.
Okay.
Give me 1 second, I have
Alright.
I have the LCAP here and I'm searching through it for DLAC.
Okay, thank you.
Could I ask for clarification on the inter-district attendance agreements? I notice a lot of districts that have that.
So in order for students to go and attend districts that are neighboring us, we need to have agreements with them. And that could be anything that a parent who works in that district and they'd like to take their child to that district. So in order to accommodate that, we need to have agreements with them. And it's vice versa.
So then, wherever the child attends gets the
Correct.
ADA?
So for the DLAC, that's goal 3, action 5, and we included DLAC in the action. Provide parent meeting opportunities to engage parents in the decision-making process. This includes school site council meetings, LCAP meetings, PTA, IEPs, DLAC, etc.
Okay, I thought we were wanting to have one at the school site.
We
I know we have
decided
a
to,
coordinator here, or a director, right?
we, per the difficulty the district has had in getting attendance at the site-based ELAC meetings, we decided that having one centralized DLAC meeting would be more conducive to getting enough attendance.
Maybe we can try on doing the school sites, go back to the school sites. We'll go ahead and go with that when we approve the LCAP, but I'd like to see at every school site.
Okay?
So,
I think maybe we can reach parents. I don't know. It doesn't seem like we have that much of attendance even at the district level, right?
Right.
So,
So the county is going to come back with their suggested revisions to the LCAP. So I believe there's still a window to make modifications to the LCAP. So we can put ELAC into the LCAP as well. And I will make those changes and get them approved by Barbara.
and so, you said county's gonna come back with their revisions?
Yes.
So we're
So,
gonna approve this before we get their revisions in?
So the county's waiting for board approval,
Okay.
and then I submit the LCAP to the county, and then they'll come back with their revisions.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I will add the ELAC verbiage
It's
into
just
the
a-
LCAP.
Well,
I'd say let's submit it
it's just a
with what you
concern.
have.
Yeah, what you
Okay.
have, yeah.
and let the county come back to us. And then if there's modifications that have to be made, we can do those.
Yeah,
Okay?
do that.
so, have you always done the LCAP, writing of the LCAP and holding the meetings? Or is,
Last year was my first year writing it, and this year was my first year. So last year, I became involved in the LCAP in approximately April. So that was after, so I wasn't really involved in like leading the LCAP committee like this year, last year. This was my first year where I had a whole year to coordinate the LCAP.
I was just wondering how that came upon your shoulders. Was that because there was a position missing in the district office, or
Well,
what?
in my role with the district, I've taken on a number of leadership roles within the district's educational program. So it was a fairly natural progression for me to take on a leadership role in the LCAP. My job title is Director of Technology and Instructional Support. I just want to clarify that my background is in education.
I was just wondering what the history was, that's all.
Okay.
I wasn't questioning
I think
your job.
Prove it and get it over to them.
In the past, the superintendent had total control over the LCAP.
Mhm.
So there was a period of time when there was a gap, so Dan basically.
Stepped up.
Correct, yeah.
Okay,
It's really.
that was the answer I was looking for.
Right, in the past, the superintendent had complete control over the development of the LCAP, so Dan inherited that in April. And he did a great job in the 2 months that he had to produce the document. So it's been a process, but this year we've really had a lot of community engagement and as much engagement as we possibly can. But it's a process for the district to really, it's really a strategic plan for our district, and we need to really treat it like that. So.
I make a motion that we approve the LCAP for the year 2019.
Mr. Bender already made that.
Oh, he did?
You wish to second?
I wish to second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
4 ayes, 1 absent. To approve the district budget for 1920.
The budget is identical to the public hearing budget. There was the California government, or California government passed the budget for next year, but there's no FICMAC calculator to give us correct numbers to base our projections for next year. So we will bring back the budget with a 45-day revision in August to reflect the new budget that the state passed.
So we're going to be approving the budget that you showed at the last meeting?
Correct.
Well, if that's not gonna be true, why can't we just table it?
We can't. We have to submit something to county before the end of the year, which will be next week.
Ed Code states you have to have a budget approved by July 1st.
And then-
But it's gonna be approved, but it's gonna be changed.
That's
Okay.
right. Normally, you don't, it's not often done, it's not something you do every year, but because the budget was approved so late by the state, it's something we'll have to do. Like, we didn't do a 45-day revision last year.
Okay.
We only did it first interim.
So we really don't know what they're giving yet.
Correct. We don't really know how it's gonna shake out.
I have an idea.
They do their budget, and then they
Right.
revise their budget, so we have to revise our budget.
And there's more special education funding. We really don't know how that's gonna affect our bottom line. And that's, special education is a big part of our district.
So I say let's approve it for 45 days. I got a question. Page 117 is temporary cash borrowing. Explain that a little bit to me, what we're signing, what we're saying yay and nay to here, and Mario's going to put his name on it, along with Barbara.
Item D.
Yeah, that's the,
Resolution
It's a
1819.
resolution. It's a temporary cash
1819.
bond. I know, okay, we're back.
we already did it, but
He's got a question.
he has a question on it. So, yes, let's go ahead and go back.
Sorry for going back.
It's, it looks like it's the trans that we usually do. Okay, so you haven't done one before. It's revolving cash money.
Oh, you know what, wait, it's coming up right here,
Oh,
so
okay.
let's wait till it gets there.
Yeah,
Okay,
let's
we'll
get
Okay,
it.
should
Never
we
mind.
finish with the budget?
Okay,
Okay, I,
Mr. Bender made a motion to approve the budget,
I second.
seconded by Sanchez. All in favor?
I,
One absent. Okay, approved resolution 1819-16, Educational Protection Act count, what is that?
So the EPA, it was created in 2013-14. It was a Proposition 30 that was passed by voters.
Right.
That's just basically money that the school district has, can do a lot of things with. There's very few strings attached. Those things that we want to do, we have to publicly state what we want to do with that money. For us, all of our EPA money will be spent on salaries, the certificated salaries. And it offsets what the state would give you from LCFF. So if the EPA didn't exist, that money would come through to us through LCFF. It's all part of your unrestricted funds.
Make a motion.
So if we use that money for that, we won't lose it some other way?
Well, you won't lose it, but you can't spend it on anything other than what was approved in the resolution. So it carries over.
Got a second?
Go ahead, say it.
You need a motion to
She made
approve
the
the
motion.
I'll second
resolution.
All in favor?
Aye.
One absent. Approve resolution 181917. Delegation of administrative authority to proceed process routine budget revision, adjustments, and transfers.
In order to close the books, we need to make transactions in our financial system. So this is basically asking for permission to do those transactions, and it will be presented in the audited actuals.
And when will that be?
Unaudited actuals will be here in September. And that will be, the year closes at end of June, and that'll give us time to, because there's still transactions going on
Right.
even after the end of June. So it allows us time to close it, but in order to post those transactions, we need permission to post those transactions.
Posted for
1819.
year instead of the 1920.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, interim reports, I do that in a model. So I bring that to you in that model, and then you approve those transactions. We post those approved transactions from the model to our actual financials. So this would be, you can't do this in a model. This could only be done in our general ledger. So these are those transactions. It's entire, all of our funds.
Unrestricted funds.
Oh, okay. Make a motion to approve the resolution 1819-2.
Motion by Sanchez, seconded by Bender. All in favor? All ayes, one absent. Approved resolution 1819-18 for temporary cash borrowing.
Okay, now. Okay, so this gives permission to borrow cash between funds. So say for instance, Fund 13, our food service fund, we need to make payroll, but we haven't received our reimbursement from the state. So we'll be able to borrow from Fund 1 to make payroll in Fund 13. So it's temporary borrowing. All temporary borrowing needs to be paid back by the end of the year, unless it was done within 90 days of the end of the fiscal year.
So this is for next year?
Correct.
And do we do that often? Do we have to do that often?
We did it this year. We
I'm sure
borrowed,
we
had
did
to
this,
borrow.
we borrowed it from everybody this year.
No, well, for Fund 13, we borrowed $300,000, but that was paid back. And it's really when the state processes our claims. Usually it's a month after we submit a claim. So that payroll has to be paid within that month. We don't have that cash until the claim is processed and the check is received. So borrowing is inevitable. And you can't have a reserve in Fund 13. The whole point is to be a nonprofit operation, so you have to borrow to pay payroll in Fund 13, and this allows you to borrow within funds.
So even if we have our reserve, we can borrow that from that.
You can't have a reserve in Fund 13.
Fund 13 is for
Food service.
food service.
The reserve that you're talking about is something else,
Okay.
something different.
Okay, I make a motion, we approve that.
Motion by Ms.
Second.
Ritter, seconded by Ms. Robinson. All in favor?
Aye.
4 ayes, 1 absent. Consider approval to apply for a 2019-2020 School Department of Education District Consolidated Application and Reporting System for clerical funding for state and federal programs. Can you explain that one?
Yeah. So the consolidated application, this is an application from the state to apply for federal funds, so Title I, Title II. So Title I is disadvantaged students, Title II is education, I think it's educator improvement, so to train educators. Title II, Part A is the training. Title IV is a new one. Title IV is for implementing your LCAP federal addendum. So federal addendum is basically replaces the LEA plan for a district. It says how you're going to incorporate federal funds into your LCAP. And Title IV is funding that. So basically this is saying to the state, yes, we want to apply for federal funding for these categorical programs. And we don't know exactly how much that will be. It depends on what the federal government allocates, and it depends on our unduplicate account. And our unduplicate account is going to be about 70% this coming year. And it might be higher, it might be lower. It really depends on what the state reports. We have really no control over that other than the forms that we collect. And if it's, there's direct certification that's through the state, and then there's our form collection, so direct certification runs this number as well. We don't know how much, it's only a guess. We will know next fiscal year. And usually it's after summer, sometime in October, because the a federal fiscal year runs through September, so we don't know until around that time how much our allocation is.
So if they do this, they're going to be allocating for them.
Correct. Yeah.
So
And the CONAP,
it needs to be two different things.
correct. Yeah, LEA was a state required plan, federal addendum. So the state negotiated with the federal government. They said we'll do the federal addendum to replace this, to get funding through Title IV. So we're basically just saying, yes, we're going to apply for these programs for the CONAP. Correct.
I'll make a motion, we approve it.
When I read it, I was
What about Title III?
Yeah, Title III, I'm not sure why
see
it's, I'm not sure why it's
Got 1,
not,
2, 4, and
right, I'm not sure why it's not in this language here.
Was it in the original?
Title III is English learner
oh, English learner.
and migrant students.
So why is it in?
I don't know why it's not in here, but it is part of our CONAP.
Just a typo or something?
Yeah, it's just missing.
We need to,
Amanda.
No, I mean, the CONAP is the CONAP. Yeah, we're gonna apply for all of these programs. The only one we're not applying for is migrant. We don't service migrant families in the area anymore. It's through a consortium, or I believe Bakersfield contracted with Palmdale to provide
they
it.
did. Tom does, because I know that they're really high on numbers over there.
Yeah, because Bakersfield wasn't able to service it because it's out, yeah, they contracted with Palmdale to provide the services. So migrant is the only program we're not participating
Are military families considered migrant?
in. That is a hope.
Because they move a lot.
Yeah. No, they wouldn't be considered, it's really farm labor. And there's fewer farms in town.
Because there's no water. Gotta have water to have farms.
Solar farms,
Yeah.
There you make a motion?
I mean,
Second.
Mr. Bender made a motion to accept the CONAP,
Second?
seconded by Ms. Robinson. All in favor?
Aye.
4 ayes, 1 absent. Approved contract for Prop 39 lighting project.
Okay, so we went to bid for Prop 39 lighting. We only got one reply, or one submission for the RFP. It's just material, there's no installation cost. We're only saying we're gonna buy the lighting equipment, or the lights and the ballasts and the controls with this RFP. And if you take a look at this, then I handed out.
Who's gonna install it?
California Conservation Corps.
Yeah, we talked about that.
yep.
So these are all the new LED lights.
Yeah, and that'll be LED lights at RES, West Park, Tropical, and RHS.
They're so much better than fluorescent lights.
And that will reduce our energy consumption considerably throughout the district.
We did it at my business, and we dropped our lighting by half.
So you can imagine how much we'll save if we do that.
Yeah, the auto shop, those lights in there, I know they're spinning the meter like crazy. So those big old halogens.
Halogens? Oh, yeah. They take like 20 minutes to warm up.
Right, exactly. Kid flips the switch, that's it. Good.
That we're purchasing, we can't purchase directly from the manufacturer. Acuity is the distributor, and they're one of the few largest distributors in this county, or in the States, or in the world. It's a worldwide company. So the cost that we are getting is basically what any other school district or organization would get. It's not an inflated cost, so it's kind of in line with what we expected. We did part of that. So all we're saying with this is we're buying the lights from these guys.
So, what one's the cost of the light? Performance lighting?
No, performance lighting is the cost of the entire lighting project,
Okay.
but the cost of purchasing the lights is $419,646.15.
And is this parking lot lights?
No.
Just lights in the school, these here?
The
Fluorescent lights?
interior lights, the gymnasium lights.
And they're changing everything. And there was only one vendor that we found that,
There are exterior lights as well that will be replaced.
Yeah, we can send it out to bid and we do the
do we
business.
send it out to Carl's Hardware?
It was open to the public. Anyone
was?
could bid on it.
And we only got one person came back at 415 or 419,000.
Yeah, we have one submission, but it is basically one of the largest distributors of lighting in the country, so the cost is in line with what the industry cost would be.
And do we want, who's the approved contractor? Do we know yet?
To install?
Well, to be recommended for approval, electrical contractor, just in case they need help, I guess, that's what that is. 35,000?
So we have an ongoing agreement with Stevens Construction as well as Air Techniques, and they're fully licensed electrical contractors. And it's an on-call basis if we need them to support an installation where we can't find out what the problem is, we're calling out.
We're pretty confident in California conversation group or corporate.
Yeah, they have a stellar
reputation.
reputation throughout the state.
And they're gonna have inspectors and,
Yeah, they have teams, and the teams consist of a lead, and then the people who are installing the lights report to the lead. It's a state program.
okay.
The state funds it, and
Kind of
their
like an
whole-
apprenticeship program.
Correct.
And where do we have them set up at? And we're gonna be paying basically their housing and food for them?
They haven't informed us yet, but what they told me, they'll stay at the cheapest place they possibly can.
And Joshua?
We know how many there is.
How many people on their cruise? I'm not sure.
We can, are we gonna shop around for them and find a place here in town to stay?
We haven't discussed it yet, but they've even brought up the possibility of camping if the weather permits.
When's this gonna take place again? This is gonna take place soon, right?
In the summertime, in July.
Yeah, they're not gonna want to camp.
Probably not next week, but as soon as we get the lights, they'll start the work.
Do we check any hotels and see if we can get a decent rate for them? Carl's or,
When we talk, we'll
Devonshire.
discuss it, but we discussed it, and all they care about is doing the work, they really don't care about accommodation.
I'm sure they probably don't, but if we can get them a place to stay, we need to sort of know how many, so we can go to these hotels and tell them, look, we got 35 guys that need some rooms for the next 3 weeks. What are you gonna give us?
Right. Negotiate. They'll get their state pricing.
No, we want better than the state pricing. I think we could beat that price, depending on how many we have. They'll have cold and warm water.
I make a motion to approve the contract for the Prop 39 lighting project.
I second.
Motion by Sanchez, second by Bender, all in favor?
Aye.
Approve contract for
There
Prop
won't be,
39
sorry,
HVAC.
we're not awarding anything, the cost, the bid that we got, we only received one bid for this, and it was way over budget.
We're gonna table that. I'll make a motion that we table that. G.
I second
How bad, are the air conditioners working? I mean, are we okay for now?
Yeah, all of our air conditioners work fine. We have some older units that are just not very efficient.
Okay.
They work, but it takes a lot of maintenance to make sure it stays working.
Okay.
All in favor? Aye. To table. Personnel items. Any questions on the layoffs and transfers, resignations?
Sad to see all the layoffs at the, on the list of personnel items, and then to see the resignations are pretty sad, but we're hoping that we'll have a good year.
We're losing a lot of good teachers. A lot of good
Yeah.
teachers.
We're gonna move forward. What to do, so. Make a motion that we approve the personnel items.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Sanchez, seconded by Ms. Robinson, all in favor?
Aye.
1-1. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I second it.
Do you have another question?
I might, hang on one second. Sorry, I just want to make sure it is.
Sure.
Attendant clerks, are we moving that program back to the schools?
For secondary,
The high school and.
Back to the high school, back to the-
middle school.
The middle school? So that's going to go back to them, and they're going to have complete control over it, like it used to be?
Well, not complete control, but they will do daily attendance.
I noticed a change in our ADA when it got moved.
Yeah.
That we dropped like 2%.
Yeah, I just heard there's been problems about it, so.
Well, our ADA is about 94.7% for 18-19. So
Which is better than it had been.
It is an improvement.
But we went from 95.5 to 92 when the system got changed, which is a big loss. Okay, now, do we adjourn?
I just want to say, I asked the superintendent to check on some of the programs and see if there's anything we can save that we talked about, kind of if there's any possibility that we can save some of them. So I'd like her to check on that for us. And double check and triple check before we start the new year. If there's anything that we can save, I'd like to try to save it. Am I okay? I'm good, I'm done.
Wait a minute, wait. You have a question?
Yes, I'm sorry, I didn't know that I have to give for the place of allegiance.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was here. I'm just, I know everybody from the board, I just want to be a little bit. So hello, my name is Rosa Rivera. I'm a custodian at West Park Elementary School. I want to express that I do not agree for Maria Reynoso to be transferred to the high school. They already have 6 custodians, and it will leave us with 3 custodians plus our lead, which costs more work and less time to finish our run. Let's keep in mind that with Ascent closing, we will have an increase in students, which means more classrooms in our run. Please take into consideration to keep Maria with our team at West Park. We have very well balanced classroom, 2 custodian, a ratio. Let's not forget restrooms, lunch, office, cafeteria, and library. Thank you.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, the cuts are taking place, and everybody seems to be working harder, and we really appreciate it. And give us some time, and we're going to work things out, and we're going to try to get everything better. And I know the custodians and maintenance departments, everybody's really working hard. So teachers, the whole school is. And times like this is what we really need. And let's get through this budget and get rolling again, and look to a better future. I'm looking forward to it.
It doesn't hurt to pray.
Okay. I motion. You second.
I second.
All in favor?
Third.
Aye.